Good morning, you guys. Happy Friday. It is Friday, the end of the week. Woot woot. So, this morning's topic, listen, your trauma is not your fault, but your healing is definitely your responsibility. Okay. The trauma that you experienced in your life, whether it was your childhood, young adult years, whatever, could have been last week. At the end of the day, no, it's not your fault. However, the healing is our responsibility. And you guys, I've been very transparent with you guys when it's come to like my own journey. By the way, you like my shirts, Glow Academy. When it's come to my own journey, the beauty of content creation for me was that I was able to share experiences and talk about things that I went through. And it was kind of like a healing process for me. For those of you guys who want to get into content creation, I highly suggest like just opening up, sharing things about yourself. I'm not sitting here saying you got to air out all your dirty laundry. You ain't got to tell everybody everything. Share things that you're comfortable with sharing. Don't feel the need to be perfect because nobody is. And you would actually be surprised at how many people are literally struggling with things that you might have struggled with, right? So I want you guys to really just use that as a way to heal as well. Okay. Your trauma is not your fault, but healing is your responsibility. Okay. Now, some of you guys live in the past. Some of you guys just do not know how to let things go. And it's weighing you down, weighing you all the way down. You are dwelling over things that you can't control. You're not letting go of people who don't want to be kept by you, right? And all this energy that you're putting into holding on to traumas, you guys, like it is literally weighing you down. You know the song by Erykah Badu, Bag Lady? That's you. That is you in a nutshell. You got to let stuff go, man. You can't change the past, and you can't change people. That's something else you have to realize. You cannot change people. You can't change the way they treated you. You can't change the way certain situations went down. You can't change none of that. But what you can change is yourself. You can change yourself. You can look at everything that you went through and try to determine what can you learn from the experience. What information do you think God was trying to teach you when he put you through what he put you through, right? I want you to really think about that. I want you to dig deep and really try to figure out, well, what lessons did God teach me? What are things that I can take away from this situation that's going to make me better, that's going to make me stronger, that's going to make me more leveled up, right? There's always room for learning, but a lot of you guys don't even want to do that. You look at things as, oh, why is this happening to me? Instead of understanding that it's happened for you. And then on top of that, you're allowing these things not only to weigh you, you're allowing these things not only to weigh you down, but it's also dictating how you show up for yourself. Like if you sit around being depressed about something that happened last week, 10 years ago, doesn't matter. Well, you're giving all that energy, all your energy that you are blessed with, you're giving that to stuff that's already happened. And now you don't even have the energy to pour into yourself and things that make you happy, all because you refuse to heal yourself. And healing is hard, but so is sitting in the past. Sitting in the past is hard. So respectfully, which hard you prefer? Which hard you want to prefer? It's hard being sad. It is hard living in regret. It's hard living in shame. It's hard living in guilt. And you do that regularly. Healing is also hard because when you heal, now you're stepping into a new version of yourself. You're stepping into a version of yourself that's stronger. You're stepping into a version of yourself that's forgiving, right? And a lot of times we think that we need closure in order to heal, but that's not true. The closure is you accepting what it is, what happened. And also too, this is tough. This is tough, but I'm telling you, if you can really open your mind to this perspective, it'll make things easier for you. Now, this may not apply to every traumatic situation, but I do feel like it applies to most. Whether it's trauma that you went through, with family members, relationships, platonic or romantic, doesn't matter. A lot of times what we fail to realize is the person who inflicted the trauma upon us, they were doing the best they could with the tools that they had at the time frame in which the situation took place. In other words, okay, let me use friendships for instance. A lot of times if you went through like a traumatic situation with a friend that you might have been friends with for years, you have to accept that the person who hurt you in that friendship, that's just who they are at that time. They haven't healed, right? They see the world in a different perspective than you do. And so when you can understand that people are doing the best that they can do with the tools that they have in that moment, not sitting here saying that it's not something you would have did. I'm just saying you have to understand people are doing the best that they can with who they are today. Okay. So they may not have known better. I'm just being real. Just because you move a certain way, just because you wouldn't handle things a certain way, does not mean that's how everybody moves. Not everybody's going to see things from your perspective. And yeah, I'm not sitting here saying you can agree with it, but it is very freeing, okay? When you can learn to understand that a lot of us are just out here doing the best we can with the tools that we have right now, then it allows you to be more forgiving because you're accepting the fact that a lot of people just don't know no better. They really just don't know any better. And what you got was the result of their ignorance. That's what you got, okay? But you don't have to sit in that, meaning you don't have to allow that traumatic situation continue to weigh you down. You can let it go. You can decide every day, you know what? Yes, this happened. It hurt me, but I'm going to move forward with my life. Yes, they made me cry. Yes, they hurt my feelings. Yes, they did. But today is a new day, and I am deciding to move forward. I am going to put one foot in front of the other and work on forgiveness. And just because you forgive someone does not mean you have to let them back into your life. Forgiveness is about you. Forgiveness is allowing you to move forward and not allowing those traumatic situations to continue to weigh you down. Because when they weigh you down emotionally, they also weigh you down physically. And now you're not showing up for the business that you want. Now you're not building the platforms that you want. Now you're not working on the goals that you want to work on because you won't let things go. You won't let things go. You got to let it go. You have got to let it go. And this is why I tell you guys, like, don't have too much ego and pride that you can't go to counseling. Don't do that. Counseling is a great space to talk to someone who is giving you unbiased opinions. A lot of times, not always, like sometimes we have parents who are very wise and knowledgeable and they can really give you great sound advice. But also too, some people don't have that. And so you might be trying to share a situation with somebody who honestly, they may not be the best person to give you advice, right? If you look at their life and the way they handle friendships, relationships, you have to make that judgment, but they may not really be the person to give you sound, solid advice. But that's who you're telling your situation to, but they can't provide you with the advice that you need. So if you go to counseling, you can get advice from somebody who's unbiased, who's listening to you and letting you share your story without cutting you off, without putting their own projections on things, right? So, and we've talked about projections. We all project at the end of the day. It's not necessarily something that people are doing maliciously. It's just what they're doing. And so sometimes, certain people just aren't the people to be giving you advice. Okay, like for instance, if your mother has never been married and you're telling her about your husband, well, at the end of the day, she loves you, so she's going to give you the best advice that she feels is best for you, but that advice that she's giving you may not necessarily be the best advice for a married person because she's never been married, so she doesn't really understand marriage. Okay. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind when you're telling people your problems. And it's not like she's doing it to hurt you or like to set you up for failure. She can only give you the advice that she knows how to give. All right. But at the end of the day, traumas are not your responsibility. Traumas are not your fault, but it is your responsibility to heal. It is your responsibility to heal. And this is why I said a few minutes ago, put it in your content. Share your story in your content. And I'm telling you, there's so many people who are going through what you're going through. Sometimes we feel like we're the only one in the world going through a particular problem. And we're really not. There's millions of people who are literally going through what you're going through right now. Maybe you lost your job and, things are falling apart for you right now. And, that's traumatic. You're stressed, you're worried. Share that in your content. Share that in your content. And then also share things that you're doing to pull yourself out of it. Because what we don't want to do is make our content a pity party. Okay. Listen, on this channel, we're not victims. So don't be on YouTube making pity parties. Absolutely not. Okay. But what you can do is share your journey, things that you're going through. But what do you plan on doing to get yourself out of it? I'm telling you, when you run your content like that, you're going to build an audience who trusts you. You'll probably be able to figure out some type of digital product to sell because now you're helping people with their problems and it's really healing you. Content gives you like an outlet to talk about things that you might not feel comfortable talking about with your friends. Your family, your friends, they don't have to know you have a YouTube channel. If they happen to find it later on down the line, fine. But you don't have to announce to your family and friends that you have a YouTube channel if you don't want to. You can keep it a secret. And well, not really keep it a secret, but you can just decide, hey, I'm not going to broadcast it to people I know. But I'm going to share things that I'm going through. And I'm telling you, it's very therapeutic. It really is. It really is. I have made videos on this channel and my weight loss channel, just talking about, things that I've gone through. I've been in traumatic situations. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm a victim because I'm not. I've overcome a lot of things. But, I decided that I was going to heal myself. I decided I wasn't going to wait for permission. I decided that I was going to forgive. And I decided that I was going to accept the fact that people are only doing the best that they can do with the tools that they have in their toolbox today. Some people, you guys, live in survival mode, okay? And I used to live in survival mode too. But these past 5 years of entrepreneurship, I've started to live in abundance. I've started to have such a more positive mindset. My energy, my frequency has just completely elevated since I started working for myself. And yeah, people have hurt me that I've let into my life since becoming an entrepreneur. Like, people have made me cry. Like, there were relationships that I thought I was building that were going to be genuine, where I pour into them, they pour into me. I thought they were going to be authentic, but sometimes they're not. And I'm not sitting here saying everybody's like that, but the friendships that I tried to build along the way, they didn't really work out. But what I had to accept was the person who hurt me, they were just doing the best that they could with the tools that they had in their toolbox at the time. And sometimes, a lot of times, people live in scarcity. They're not living in a sense of how can I help them just like they're helping me. A lot of people are living in a mindset of what can I get from them because they have more than me, right? And so when I looked at things like that, in that aspect, it made it easier for me to forgive them for the traumas that they inflicted upon me. And it made me a smarter person. It allowed me to realize, just because I'm genuine and authentic and just because I want the best for everybody does not mean that people are walking around here wanting the best for you, right? But that's not my problem. That's theirs. And I also believe that you reap what you sow. And walking around with that type of mentality is what's going to keep that person trapped, right? But that took a lot of healing on my end to be able to accept it for what it was. I could have easily just let these friendships hurt me and weigh me down. Now I'm sitting around every day crying and mad at the world and bitter and, oh, fuck people, right? I could have carried that same energy. But for what? For what? God has blessed me with so much, right? I think being able to have a mindset of abundance, being able to be positive, I think that's a blessing, because unfortunately, I don't believe, and again, I could be wrong, but I don't believe most people have that mindset. I believe a lot of people in this country, I'm in the US, by the way, I believe a lot of people in this country, they can be a little negative, but I don't have that attitude. A lot of people are unfortunately very insecure, and the fact that I have so much confidence in myself and I'm able to show up for myself every day and believe in myself, I believe those are blessings. And because I have that mindset and God blessed me with that, I don't want to sit in pity. I don't want to sit in resentment. I don't want to sit in guilt. I don't want to sit around and be mad at myself for trying to make friends and, the friendships didn't go in the direction that I had hoped. I don't want to sit around being mad at myself for that. I want to kind of just just, what is the word? Chuck it up, just accept it for what it was, just accept it for what it was. It was cool in the moment, but the friendship ran its course, and that's okay, right? I want you to think about those things when it comes to whatever it is you're struggling with. I used to work a job that I absolutely hated, and, I'll never forget how miserable I was working there. It was very depressing and traumatic for me. It definitely gave me PTSD for sure, but I could have, sat in that and been mad at management for treating me the way they treated me and talking the way they talked to me. I could have, but for what? What is that going to do? I'm out of there. I got out, and it made me stronger. It made me mentally stronger. So I want you to really look at the traumas that you went through as kind of like a way that God made you stronger. And now, because you went through those things and overcame it, you can teach other people how to overcome it. Like, what's wrong with that? This is why I keep saying use content as an outlet. Content for me has been so therapeutic. And then something else too, when it comes to people who are struggling with moving on and letting go of the trauma and forgiveness, a lot of times the reason why you're struggling with it is because you're not filling your time with things that truly make you happy. This is why I say every day you have a choice. You can either choose to be better, you can choose to live a life that you want, or you can choose to sit in pity. And you make the choice to sit in pity. Every day you could wake up and be like, you know what? Not only am I going to work on forgiving this person, but I'm also going to spend 30 minutes, an hour, however much time doing something that makes me happy, doing something that brings joy to my life. So for those of you guys who keep talking about you want to be content creators, why are we not doing that? Why are we not doing that? It's hard to let things go when you keep thinking about it. And this isn't about us avoiding our feelings. This is about pouring our energy into things that are bettering us, pouring our energy into things that make us happy, not things that keep us depressed. So stop watching all the pity party Instagram reels about relationships and men ain't shit and females are fake, and stop watching that. Stop watching that. That's not helping you. If anything, that's just keeping you in the negative mindset that you have. That's keeping you hurt because you're constantly reminding yourself of what that person did, how they made you feel, whatever. Instead of you watching content on stuff, why don't you create your own content and talk about it with your audience? And also, like I said a few minutes ago, not only talk about it, but talk about what you're going to do to fix it. How are you going to overcome it? What are you going to do to make your life better? We want to help people. We want to give people solutions to their problems, not just a pity party. Okay, we're not forming trauma bonds on the damn internet. So I want you to, use your content as an outlet. And then also make sure you go to counseling. Go to counseling, heal your traumas. You are a grown-ass adult at the end of the day. You're a grown-ass adult at the end of the day. So it's time for us to put our big girl panties on and fix our life, okay? We're not sitting in pity parties. We're not going to do the whole woe is me. And also, it's okay to mute people. Like maybe people who hurt you, you've already unfollowed them, but you might still be following people who run in the same circle as those people who hurt you. And they might not necessarily directly did something to you, but every time you see them, it might be a reminder of what you went through. Okay, well then mute them. Mute them, unfollow them. It's not personal. It's just you trying to take back your power. There's nothing wrong with that. So I be muting people. I'll mute the fuck out of you. So, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not rude. This is about you. This is about you getting to your highest version, right? And you can't do that if you're sitting in the past. You can't do that if you're crying every day. So mute things that take you back to that traumatic time. Mute, okay? Also, too, I want you to start working on things that make you happy. And don't sit here and say, well, I don't have time. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. If you have time to binge watch content and movies, you have time to do things that make you happy, okay? That give you purpose. Because the more we can spend time doing that, the less time we have sitting around crying about shoulda, woulda, coulda, if, ands, and buts. It happened. Let it go. Move forward, okay? We do not have to sit in the past. We do not have to continue to dwell, okay? So, yeah. Your traumas aren't your fault, but your healing is your responsibility, okay? So, yesterday was such a good day for business. I had somebody book a one-on-one Zoom with me. I had my live coaching call inside of Glow Up Academy, and I was so excited about it because I had a lot of new members who joined this past week, and they came and we were just like talking about things that they were struggling with, trying to figure out a digital product idea that would be best for them. And I love bouncing ideas to people. Like, I love that. That's probably one of the most favorite things about being an online coach and helping people run their business is like helping them come up with ideas. Like, I love that. Even before I had a business, even when I was still working, like I loved giving people business ideas. Like, that's just something I've always loved. It's just something I've had a passion for. Like, let's bounce ideas back and forth and figure out what's best for you, right? And that's literally what last night was on the coaching call. It was so much fun. And I was so excited because the people who were still trying to find direction for their business, like I was able to give them really good ideas, and they were so excited about these ideas. Like, they were grinning from ear to ear, just so excited about the ideas I helped them come up with, the direction that they're going to take for their business. It really gave them clarity. And that's what I love. Hold on. Being able to give people clarity and direction, because once you know what it is that you're moving towards, it's so much easier to move towards it because now you have a map. Okay. It's really hard to move towards something and you don't even know which way you're supposed to be going. You confused as hell, right? Taking detour after detour. But when you know what it is that you want, once you've figured it out, now you can hit the ground running. Now it feels like it aligns with your purpose, which is really important. It is so hard to show up for something every day, you guys, when you don't like it. It's giving job. It's giving, this is a job. And yes, being an entrepreneur is hard. I'm not sitting here saying it's all rainbows and butterflies, but what I am going to say is it's so much easier to show up every day because you truly enjoy what you're doing. Yes, with any business, you're going to have parts of the business that you don't like. Okay. Of course, that's just adulthood. There's going to be things within the business that might not be your favorite thing to do. Fine. But that's just what comes with the territory. Just like with your job, you might not hate every single thing about the job. There might be certain parts of the job that you don't mind, but there's other parts of the job that you really hate. Okay. Same with business. That doesn't change just because you run a business, but it makes it so much easier to show up for the business when you love most of what it is that you're doing, when you love the path. So for those of y'all who are hard-headed as hell, still ain't joined Glow Up Academy because you don't want to invest $39 to change your life, well, let me ask you this. What is the price of staying stuck? The price of staying stuck is time that you don't get back. We could have already created the direction for you in your business. We could have already been moving towards it. But you would rather hold on to $39 and go spend that doing absolutely nothing than to get the clarity and the momentum that you need to not only start the business, but keep showing up for the damn business. Make it make sense. I don't know. Make sure you guys join Glow Up Academy. The link is down below in my description. I think we have like, how many numbers we got in there? I didn't look at it this morning. Where are we at with that? Let's see. Glow Up Academy. We have 103 members inside Glow Up Academy. $39 a month. Think like a CEO, earn like one. Okay. Okay, Glow Up Academy. Very cool. Very cool. So yes, I really enjoyed last night's live coaching call. I do them every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And even if you can't make the coaching calls, that's fine because I still provide the replay. So if you had to work or you had something with your kids, you don't miss anything because you can watch the replays. Hold on. I'm lining my lip all type of crazy right now. I be trying to talk while I do this, but honestly, it never really works out for me. I gotta like overcorrect. Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. I'm using my MAC Night Moth. And I'm going to go with red lip since I'm wearing a red shirt. If I can find it. Ruby Whoa is the color. Bright red. Bright red lipstick. It's a matte, by the way. So with it being Friday and all, how are you going to spend your weekend? Are you going to spend your weekend talking about what you're going to do but not do it? Or are we actually going to do it? Because a lot of y'all be off on weekends, let's be real. A lot of y'all be off on weekends. And you could literally use the weekend to reach your goals. But you choose not to. This is why I say, like, sometimes I just feel like, and I could be wrong. I haven't had a conversation with you. This is just me talking my shit and just just saying my opinions. But sometimes I really believe that when you really want something, you just go do it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I don't feel like you really need too much of a pep talk. Like let's say you need a second job because the first job ain't paying them bills like it need to be, right? Maybe you had some unexpected expenses that came up, right? And so okay, I need to pick up a second job for the holidays to make ends meet, yada, 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 right? Like, that. Okay. Well, do you really need much of a pep talk to go put in applications? Probably not, because you really want another job. Not that you won't, but you need it. You need it. It's going to improve your life, right? So you're just kind of going to do it. There's not really too much thought process that's involved there, right? But it's like when it comes to creating content, it's like every single day we have to be reminded to post and to show up. It's kind of it's not something that you really want. You know what I mean? And just imagine if you had a boyfriend and you got to constantly remind him to do nice things for you. It just kind of feels like it's not really something that he wants to do, because if he really wanted to do it, he wouldn't need to be reminded. He would just do it. You know what I mean? So, I could be wrong. I don't know. Share your thoughts. But I just feel like if it's something that you really, really wanted to do, you would just do it. That's just really how I feel at this day and time. The red isn't as bright, I think, because I got some of the lip liner on it. It's giving more of like a purple, but it's really red. There you go. Yeah, I had some of the liner on it. There we go. I want that red, not that purple. Yes. Beautiful. Perfect. So I don't know. I need you to think about that. I need you to think about it, because sometimes I just feel like when you really want something, you just go get it. You don't really need much of a pep talk. That could be me. Like when you're really hungry, you just go get some food, right? You don't really need to be pep talked into stopping at Chick-fil-A. You just go get it, right? That's how I feel about business sometimes. I just feel like, and that's why I said I recognize that I'm not the coach for everybody. I understand that, because there's just certain things that I just believe, and I'm not really here to baby you. I'm here to motivate you and inspire you. Good morning. I'm here for all that. But certain things I just feel like just don't really need to be said. And if you look at the examples I gave, then you should understand that when you want food, when you want fast food or your favorite restaurant, you just go get it. No one's like pep talking you into it. Like, okay, when you get off work, we're not going to drive home. We're going to go to Kava and we're going to get that bowl and you're going to put all the work. So you ain't got to do all that, because that's what you really want. You're going to just go get it. But it's like when we're talking about content and building this business, now you need all these pep talks to get it done. Sometimes it's just giving, like, it's just not really something that you want to do. I told you, I feel like a lot of times people say they want to be entrepreneurs because it sounds cool right now. It's just like the trending thing. People do it. People say they want to be entrepreneurs because it looks cool on the surface. But when it's time to actually be the entrepreneur, now all of a sudden, people don't really want to do it. That's how I feel. Then that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes I'm not sitting here saying like This is what I think. I believe anyone can be an entrepreneur. I don't think it's out of reach for anyone. But the problem is a lot of people aren't willing to change who they are. That's the problem. And a lot of times who you are today, honestly, just does not align with entrepreneurship. Like if you're the girl who's always making excuses for why you can't get something done, that characteristic of yours, that character trait, that's a flaw in entrepreneurship. Like you're not going to be able to run a successful online business if you're full of excuses. Like it's just not going to work out for you. And until you change that, you won't have an online business. And that's my point. Most people aren't willing to change. I'm a reflection of all the changes that I've made in my life these past 5 years of entrepreneurship. Like I am nothing like who I used to be, like at all, not even close. I did a full 180, full complete 180, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, like all of the things. All right. I used to be 340 pounds. Thank you, Alex. I used to be 340 pounds. Okay, I was a very big girl. I'm 6'3", by the way. So I lost 100 pounds. That took a lot of discipline. For anyone who has lost weight, you already know how hard that is. And no shame to like Ozempic and Wegovy and all that stuff, but those things do make it a little bit easier because it naturally suppresses, not naturally, but it suppresses your appetite so you can still eat what you want, but just a little bit. And you're essentially going to lose weight for as long as you're on that shot. But when you lose weight without those shots, you're constantly battling the urge to overeat. Because most of the time, if you're extremely overweight, like how I was, you overeat. You stuff yourself. That's all. That's what that is. So it's a lack of discipline. And so I had to learn so much discipline on that weight loss journey. Okay. And that same discipline I learned on my weight loss journey, I carried over into my business world. Okay. So I learned how to go off of the plan and not the mood. Even if I don't feel like doing something, I'm still going to do it because that's putting me one step forward towards reaching my goals. Like I tell you guys all the time, I make most of my sales on TikTok. I love TikTok. By the way, if you're not selling on TikTok, why not? But I've had plenty of lives where I didn't make any sales. Of course, that makes me feel bad about myself. Right? It's like, dang, I must really suck, you know? But I don't let that keep me from still showing up every day. It happened yesterday. I didn't make any sales. Fine. Well, today's a new day. But a lot of you guys aren't willing to do that. And that's the problem. And that's what I'm saying. Until you change that about yourself, until you change you're willing to show up, even if you don't get the results that you want right away. If you don't change that part about yourself, well, sweetie, you're not going to have a business, okay? Because just like all entrepreneurs, there are going to be days where you might not make shit. I think it was, who was it? Was it today's Friday, so Thursday? I think it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. I talked about when you're an entrepreneur, like you can't go off of the day. If you go off of the day, like how much you make for the day, you're going to go insane, okay? Because you will literally have days where, and this is once you've been doing it, okay? I'm not throwing out numbers if you first started. But like I will have days, mind you, I've been an entrepreneur for 5 years, okay? I would have days where I didn't make shit, right? Like $5. I might have made $5. And then I would have other days where I made $600, $800, right? But if you go off of the day, you're going to drive yourself insane. So instead of going off of the day, go off of the month. And I tell you guys this, something else that I had to change about me was I was not financially literate, okay? When I started making money during OnlyFans, you guys, I was just spending. I was just spend that shit and get it right back. Okay. Like I was going crazy. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And the crazy thing is, like, if you were to ask me, what did I do with all that money? I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I got DoorDash. Like, I got wigs. I did get my teeth done. Okay. So I did do that, but I don't even know. Like literally as soon as the money came in, it went right back out. Like it was like that. Okay. But I had to change that. Like if I wanted God to bless me with more money, that was going to have to get in check because he was not going to give me more money until I became a good steward of the money he blessed me with. And that took a lot of trial and error. Okay. I'm going to try to save money. I'm going to try, fail, right? But he was not going to put me he's not going to take me to the next level until I got that under control, Okay. So this is what I'm saying. Like a lot of the things that you want to do, a lot of the goals that you want to reach, you can reach. Like I'm not sitting here saying you can't do it, but a lot of times the reason you're not reaching the goal that you have for yourself is because you refuse to change yourself. You refuse to adapt new habits. You refuse to change your ways. Sometimes you have to change your environment. Sometimes you have to change your environment. Yeah. Sometimes God is not going to give you the results of the goals that you have because you're just around people who ain't going to do no good by you. And so he's not going to bless you with that money until you remove yourself from them. Because shit, for all he know, maybe you in a relationship where the person just taking from you. Maybe they're using the hell out you and you haven't come to your senses. You know they're using you, but you ain't come to your senses about it, right? And everything you make, you give to them. All they got to do is manipulate you a little bit. All they got to do is talk shit to you a little bit. All they got to do is gaslight you a little bit, and you give them all the money. Well, let's just say this type of relationship you're in, right? Why would God bless you with a business that's thriving and able to pay your bills when he knows all you're going to do is give that money to your partner? But watch what happens once you let go of that man or that woman that's draining you. Watch what happens. Now your business making money. Sometimes it's the people you're around that are tying up your blessing. Yep. Sometimes it's the people you're around. Maybe you're around like real draining ass, negative ass people, right? And it's like every day they figure out how to just drain you of your feel good energy. They're the people that are always complaining. Maybe they're the people who are always picking fights with you. They could be the people that are like taking your confidence from you, telling you ain't shit, right? They could be them type of people. And God ain't going to bless you with this business until you let them out your life. And so you will let year after year go by, holding on to people that ain't doing shit for you, ain't helping you do nothing, delaying the blessing because you won't let them friends go. Or you won't distance yourself from that family that's not supporting you and is making you feel bad about your choices in life, right? Sometimes it be the people you're around, and sometimes it's the environment. It could be the environment. And as soon as you move about that environment, everything changes, okay? So a lot of times, if you have these goals for yourself and you're not getting the results, it could be because there's things in your life right now that you haven't changed. Whether it's yourself, whether it's people, whether it's the environment, whatever. And until you remove yourself from that, you ain't gonna have no results. When you're sitting there looking crazy trying to figure out when's your breakthrough. Your breakthrough could have been broke through, but you delaying the breakthrough. You delaying it because you don't want to change. You can't take everybody with you. Everybody's not destined to go with you. And that's okay. Like they served their purpose in your life. Y'all had some cool times together, whatever. But now it's time to move on to bigger and better things. Now it's time to do something different. Now it's time to take a new path. Okay. So I'm telling you, a lot of the things in my life had to change. I used to drink like a lot. Like I used to be like an alcoholic, like all that had to change. all that had to change. Okay. I used to be real negative, like real negative. I was the Debbie Downer. Okay. I was the person you probably didn't want to hang out with. That was me. Okay. You did not want to hang out with me because I was going to always say the cup is half empty instead of half full. I'm the person that's going to find a problem with everything. Okay. We could be talking about flowers and I'm going to talk about death. Okay. Like it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And so a lot of those things about me had to change. So change is good for you though. We're supposed to evolve every day. Ooh, these curls, like what? Every day you should be striving to be better than you were yesterday. Every day. Don't skip a day. Do something different to be better every single day. Okay. Don't skip a day. Time moves so fast, by the way, and we don't have time to waste. We really don't. So what I want you to do is every day, just do something towards the goal. No excuses, no bullshitting around, no shoulda, woulda, couldas. No, we're not doing that. Okay. I feel like my part is crooked as hell. I don't know how my part be getting crooked. Like, how did we get there? I don't know. Maybe it's not crooked. Got a little dangerous. Okay. I said I wasn't going to put heat on my head today. So I'm not. We're just going to have a little poofy part. It's not that bad. But I am going to put a little gel. Just kind of like. Do that with it. Yeah. Now I ain't got to put no heat on my hair. I try not to put heat on my hair every day. Plus, I'm going to go get it washed. Probably like next week. I'm going to go to the Dominicans and let them wash my sew-in and my leave-out. And I'll have them flat iron it. So I'm not going to put any more heat on my hair until then. Because I don't want it to break off. I don't want it to break off. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. But yes, every day, do something towards your goals. I don't know why this side is like sticking up. It must have been the way I curled it. I don't know. Fuck it. It is what it is. We're not going to worry about perfection. Okay. But yeah, there's things about you that are probably going to have to change a little bit or a lot of it. And until you change those things, you ain't going to have no damn business. You're going to be sitting on the sidelines talking about somebody shoulda, woulda, couldas. When really you could get out there. You could get out there, you know, and really start your business, you know. You can do this. I tell y'all every day, ain't nothing that I'm doing that any other creator is doing that you can't do. But what we do versus what you don't do is execute. We just keep showing up every day, little by little, just trying to be better, just trying to lock in, right? Just eliminating the excuses, eliminating the distractions, getting rid of people that don't serve us, getting rid of things that don't pour into us, right? Shedding negative energy, just letting all that go, you know, just letting it go, just doing something better every day. And if you just move like that, over time, your life is gonna progress. Like, just imagine if every single day you woke up doing something different, like for 6 months. Like every day you work towards your goal for 6 months straight, no day off. Just every day you did something towards the business, something towards the content for 6 months straight. Just 6 months. That's half a year. That's gonna fly by, right? And don't say it's not, because 2025 flew by. 2025 flew by. So you know it's going to fly by. It's going to fly by. But if you just did something towards the goal every day, 6 months from now, Chan, you will be looking back so happy that you just locked in. You sure would. You'll be like, wow, I did that? Yes, you did that. All because every single day you woke up just trying to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. Day after day, week after week. Okay? Affirmation time. Let me pull them up. Y'all better be saying these affirmations. Y'all better be saying these affirmations. Don't be having me say these things and you ain't even reciting them. The purpose of affirmations is to make you start to think highly of yourself. A lot of you guys have allowed the world to just beat you down. Okay, we got to build you up. We got to build you up. Wealth follows my discipline. Wealth follows my discipline. I attract clients who value my work and pay my worth. I attract clients who value my worth, that value my work and pay for my worth. Ooh. Money comes to me from expected and unexpected places. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Amen to that. I am consistent even when no one is watching. I am consistent even when no one is watching. I honor the habits that support my future self. Y'all, we got to break that one down. We got to break that down. I honor the habits that support my future self. Okay. Let's talk about it. Every day, I focus on me. I really do. Every day. Every day, Jasmine makes herself a priority. Why? Because if I don't make myself a priority, then nobody else will. Okay? You cannot continue to live life putting yourself last. You can't keep doing that. That don't work out for you. It's not supposed to. You cannot keep putting yourself last. You need to be pouring into yourself. Listen, in order to achieve your goals, in order to manifest, for those of you guys who want to talk about manifesting so damn much, let me explain to you how manifestation works. In order to manifest, you have to have high energy, okay? Meaning you have to feel good about yourself. You can't manifest when you're constantly feeling like shit. You can't manifest if you have negative energy on you. You can't manifest if you're constantly telling yourself what you can't do. You have to keep high levels of energy. You have to keep high levels of feel-good energy every day, which is why I tell you to spend time by yourself. It's hard to keep feel-good energy when you're around people who are draining you. It is hard to keep a feel-good energy about yourself when you're in a toxic-ass work environment that's beating you down. It is hard to have a feel-good energy when you're sitting around watching the news and they're talking about everybody's losing their job. You can't manifest like that. You have to have a feel-good, positive energy every day for as long as you possibly can. That is how you attract things to you. That's how you manifest your goals. So how do we have a feel-good energy? Since we know that we need to feel good about ourselves, how do we go about feeling good about ourselves? Putting yourself first. I want you to do things that make you feel good. When you do things that make you feel good, now you can carry a feel-good energy. So what might those things be? Eating better, getting sleep, moving your body. For me, doing my makeup, getting my hair done, getting my nails done. These are things that make me feel good about myself so I can have a feel good energy. Working on a business that you love. When every day you have an opportunity to work on something that truly makes you happy, now you have feel good energy. When you feel good, you can attract things to you. You can't attract things to you when you don't feel good. You ever notice how when people who are negative always have negative shit happen to them? Because they don't have a feel good energy. You also have people who are always trying to chase things instead of trying to attract things. Okay. So this is why I love this affirmation. When you honor the habits that support your future self, you are aligning yourself with who you're trying to become. So taking care of your body, working on your business, doing things that make you feel good is aligning you with who you're trying to become, your future self. And that's what's going to help you get to the goals that you have. Okay. So make sure you keep that feel good energy on you. If you ever start to feel bad, this is why I said we have to heal our traumas, because you can't have a feel good energy when you're still living in the past. You can't have a feel good energy when you're thinking about a man that broke your heart 5 years ago. You got to let it go. You can't have a feel good energy if you don't heal your traumas. So you got to let it go. You have to let it go. Okay. I am committed to my elevation. I move with intention every day. I am becoming the most focused version of me. I am mentally stronger than my excuses. I love these. These are giving this morning, okay? I am allowed to be loud about my success. Yes, you're allowed to talk about yourself. You are allowed to mention things that you're proud of yourself for. The only people who have a problem with that are the people who are insecure and don't have nothing to be proud about for themselves. Which is why I tell y'all, stop hanging around insecure people, because those are the people who are going to make you feel like you got to shrink yourself in order to fit in. Don't shrink shit. Been there, done that. Don't do that. It's draining. It removes your peace. It makes you feel low. Don't shrink yourself to fit into somebody's circle. They need to be in your circle. Okay. And if they can't build success so that they can feel confident and talk about their success too, and they want to make you feel bad for talking about yours, then them not the people you need to be around. You are allowed to be loud about your success. You are allowed to tell yourself what you're proud of yourself for. Don't ever forget that. I radiate confidence effortlessly. My confidence expands every day. I love those. I am enough, more than enough. Okay? I am enough. I'm more than enough. Amen, amen. So, don't let people make you feel bad about yourself. Again, I can't stress this enough. When people try to make you feel bad about themselves, it's because that's how they feel about themselves. I told you guys, we live in a world where insecurity is at an all-time high, especially with the social media. People are really out here trying to pretend to be something that they're not. And here you are, your authentic self, showing up every day, doing the best you can. You will have people around you who hate on you for that, if they're not confident, if they're insecure. So stop being around them type of people, because they're not going to do nothing but bring your energy down. And what do we say? In order to truly manifest, you have to feel good. You have to feel good. You can't feel good when you're in a room full of insecure people trying to make you shrink. So don't do that. Okay? Okay. So what I wanted to do this morning, so those were our affirmations. I wanted to spend some time talking to you guys about paid communities. If you did not know, we're going to go on the whiteboard for this, by the way. If you did not know, I have been running paid communities my entire entrepreneurship journey. So 5 years of entrepreneurship, 5 years of paid communities, community building, funnels, all of those things. And I want to share with you guys some of the lessons that I learned when it came to running paid communities. So for those of you guys who do want to run a paid community, you can take this advice and apply it to your own business. I love paid communities first and foremost because it's a way to have recurring income every month, so that you're not starting at zero every month. If you can figure out how to get people to stay subscribed to your paid community, well, then you're going to have recurring income. Okay. So think of like Netflix, for instance, where they're always adding new movies, new shows, right? They're doing that because they want to keep people subscribe. Matter of fact, let me take this off. Oh, it's cold. Never mind. We'll keep it on. They're doing that because they want to keep people subscribed. They want to keep the recurring subscription. So paid communities. Okay. So first, what you need to do in order to have a paid community is you have to figure out the price. So step number one, figure out the price of the community. What do you want to price it at? So every community that I've ever run that was paid was a relatively low monthly subscription price because my goal was to upsell them once they got inside of the community. So what I want you guys to understand is when you're thinking about your price point, I also need you to think about LTV, which stands for lifetime value of the customer. Let me write that down. Lifetime value of the customer. That's what that is, okay? So if you price something relatively low, so let's say you want to do anywhere between $9 to $49. That's a relatively low price point, right? That's a relatively low monthly payment, all right? But our goal, let's say we do price it at $49, our goal is to still make more off of somebody than the $49 monthly subscription price. And that's how I've always run my paid communities. So first what you need to do is figure out a price point, okay? Next, what you need to do is figure out why they would subscribe in the first place, and then why would they keep their subscription going? You got to figure that out. So what is it that you're going to be offering in the community that's going to, A, make people want to subscribe? So we'll put A, want to sub, and then B, keep sub on, okay? And the best way to do that is every month you drop something new, okay? So we think about Glow Up Academy, every month I'm adding new vaults, new information that wasn't there the previous month. And over the course of a year of running a paid community, you have hundreds of pieces of content in there because every single month you're adding new stuff. So you got to figure out, why do people want to keep their subscription on? And let me tell you this, the higher you price your paid community at, the more of the why you need, okay? People are more likely to keep a subscription going when it's only $9 or $10, maybe even $20, $30, because it's really cheap. But if you want to start pricing your paid community at like $99, that's fine, you can do it. But then you're going to really have to figure out, why would they keep that subscription going, okay? Because your everyday person, $99 is a lot of money. All right, so you got to figure that out. Once you do figure that out, we got to figure out our upsells. Okay, so this goes back to the lifetime value. So let's say somebody enters into your community. So they enter in, I'll put it over here. Can y'all see it? Yes. So let's say somebody enters through content. Okay, so you're posting your content. This is where we get into funnels, by the way. Let me put funnels up top. Okay, so this is how I run my paid communities. So somebody enters into your world through content, meaning you're posting on social. So whether that's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, Twitter, doesn't matter. They found you through the content, okay? So then they decide to sub to Commiunity, right? And so let's say the community is $49 a month. Okay, great. Well, how can we get more money out of this person? Well, you're going to offer them upsells. So what kind of problems do people struggle with within your community? That's how you're going to upsell them. Excuse me. So we want, in our upsells, we want to solve problems, common problems, okay, to start. Now you're going to have multiple upsells, but again, you're going to treat it like a ladder. So for instance, you have someone join at $49 a month. Maybe the next upsell, you might be able to get to pay $75 for something, right? Maybe it's one-on-one. Maybe it's some type of done for you something. So you got them to pay $75. Okay, great. Well, what's the next thing that they could pay for? You might get them to spend $149 on something else, maybe some type of master class. And this is how I run Glow Up Academy. This is how I'm throwing this out. But you might be able to get them to pay for some type of master class where it's one-on few. So the $75 thing might have been a one-on-one, but now you're going to create more in-depth explanation about a particular topic through some type of master class, and you're charging $149. It's not really one-on-one. It could be one-on-4, something like that. You might be able to upsell them into something else, something that's more done for you, and you can get them to pay $4.99. Okay? And let's say they were really happy with that service and you were able to upsell them into something else, maybe some type of mentorship. You could get between $9.97 and $2,000, right? Just depending on what it is that you're selling. But notice the funnel that this person went on. You got them from $49 a month. Well, first you got them from free content, free social media content, right? Because when you're posting on social, it's free. Let me pull my calculator, okay? And then, so you got them into your world for $49 a month. You upsold them, maybe you got, $75. Then you upsold them into something else, so $149. You might have been able to sell them into something else that was $4.99. And then you're able to get them to purchase something for, let's say, $9.97. Next thing you know, you have gotten this one person to spend $1,769. That's the lifetime value of this customer. And that's just right here. You might come up with stuff later on and be able to upsell them to something else. But the point I'm making is off of one person, yes, you got them in at $49 a month, but by the time over the course of a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever, not only did you get the monthly subscription cost, but you also were able to upsell them on other things that they need help with, other problems that you have solved. And you made $1,769, all because you have a paid community. You're able to pour into people regularly every single day in some way, shape, or form. Now, what kind of things could you do within your paid community to keep people subscribed so that you can get the recurring subscription every month? Well, something that I do that I've done with all of my paid communities is lives, okay? So if you want to do coaching calls, weekly coaching calls, this is a way for people to lock in with you, get to ask you questions, pick your brain, going live, but within the paid community. So yes, you can go live on socials like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. But if you host a separate live, and if you do that like weekly, well, now you're adding value, right? Let's say you're really teaching people on these lives. Maybe so you could do Q&A type of live where people have questions, they're able to ask you in real time. You could even do teaching lives where every single week or whatever, however often you choose to do it, you're teaching people something. But this information that you're giving them is exclusive within the community. Okay, so weekly lives, at least weekly. I wouldn't do monthly, weekly. And some people might be like, gosh, every week you want me to go live? Well, yeah, I do. Because the goal is to reduce churn. So churn is the percentage of people who subscribe but leave. Okay, let me write that down. Churn is people who leave. Okay, so they subscribed for 1 month, but they didn't keep their subscription going, so you lost them. Fine. Our goal is to keep churn low. The lower the percentage, the better. Well, in order to do that, you're going to have to pack it with information. You're going to have to pack it with value. That's what you're going to have to do. But if you go live weekly, well, now people have a reason to keep their subscription going. Okay, so you're reducing churn. Now, you might say, well, what if I only have one person in at $49 a month, but you're asking me to go live weekly? Okay, yeah, but you're ensuring that, let's say you just started your community and you got one person in there, you're ensuring that there's one person who pays $49 a month, they keep their subscription going. And if you keep posting and showing up every single day, like I tell you to do every single day, your sub is going to increase the number of people in there. So let's say you have people paying $49 a month and you're able to get 100 people in there. That's $4,900. That's $4,900 a month. of guaranteed income. That doesn't even include your upsells. Let's say out of the 100 people are in there, you're able to get, let's say you're able to get 30 people to pay for a one-on-one. Out of those 30 people who pay for one-on-one, maybe you're able to get, I don't know, 15 people to upgrade to some type of master class that you're going to host. And out of those people, you might get 7 people to spend $4.99 on something else. And then out of those 7 people, you're able to carry them, maybe you get 3 people to pay $1,000. Okay, so guess what? You got 30 people in 1 month to pay for a one-on-one. That's one-on-one a day. That's really not that bad. That's $75. That's $2,200 right there, right? You get 15 people to sign up for a master class that you host within your community. That's another $2,200 right there. Really, yeah, $2,200. You get 7 people to sign up for something that's $4.99. That's $3,500. Okay, and you get 3 people to sign up for something, a mentorship of some kind. That's $3,000, all within your community. So when you add all that up, $4,400 plus $3,500, and this is in upsells, plus $3,000. This is just in upsells. That's $11,000 on top of your recurring subscription, $4,900. Next thing you know, you're sitting at $16,000 a month. This is the name of the game. I don't know why I can't get the comma right. $16,000 a month, paid communities. Now, how did I do this? I did this with OnlyFans. I did this with OnlyFans. I would get people to subscribe to my OnlyFans for $49 a month through content. I was on Twitter, I was on Instagram, and I had just got on YouTube. $49 a month, I got people in there. Out of that, my upsells were higher. So they weren't getting a video chat out of me for $75. But I would get people to buy video chats. I would get people to buy exclusive content. I would get people to buy, I used to sell toys like clones and stuff like that. Those were $4.99. I would get people to buy that. I would get people to buy private pictures. I would get people to buy like my socks and stuff like that. So I was upselling them. Next thing you know, someone came in for $49 a month. By the time I finished upselling them, that one person might have spent $2,000 off of one person over the course of 2 months, 3 months. Upsells. Upsells, upsells, upsells. You are being upsold everywhere you go. And it's funny because when I tell this stuff to my students, they'll be like, well, it just feels weird upselling people. Why? Why does it feel weird? The minute you step foot in the airport, you're being upsold. But the minute you walk in there, but as soon as you put your flight ticket in the cart, you are being upsold. Do you want first class? Do you want Wi-Fi? Do you want extra luggage? Do you want to skip TSA? Do you need a rental car? Do you want drinks on the plane? Delta does it to you with no problem. Do they or do they not? So what's the issue here? It's a confidence thing and you feeling like you don't deserve wealth. That's what that is. So for those of you guys who are questioning whether or not you deserve any of this, at this point, this is a confidence issue. You don't see the value in what it is you're selling because you don't see the value in yourself. That's the problem. That's the problem. So we got to get out of that headspace. I'm telling you, paid communities have made me hundreds upon thousands of dollars. And all I did was take what I learned through OnlyFans and I put that in Glow Up Academy. Same concept, different prices. It's the same thing. So I don't care what your community is. I don't give a damn. I have students who are doing schools. They're doing religion, like teaching people how to find God. I have students inside Glow Up Academy. One of my students, we're working on her film community, teach people how to be filmmakers, how to be more creative with their writing and videography. I have students who are life coaches building their schools. And we talking about how we're going to upsell, and more upsell times 10. And let's say you didn't upsell. Let's say you didn't do none of this shit right here. Let's say you didn't do anything. Fine, take this off. You still got $4,900 a month. Most people don't even make this in 2 months at their job. There are plenty of people in the USA who work 40 hours a week, 160 hours a month, and they still don't bring home $4,900 a month. Maybe you just, I don't know why you wouldn't want to upsell, but hey, that's your choice. Do what you want to do. It's your business, your prerogative. But even if you didn't want to upsell anything, maybe you just wanted a monthly subscription. Fine. That's still $4,900 a month if you can get 100 people to join. But I'm still going to tell you, you got to figure out how to keep people's subscription on. You got to figure it out. You have got to figure out why would people want to stay subscribed. And you are going to have to pack it with value. Because if you don't, as soon as someone joins, they're leaving. And now we're not building any recurring income. And what's the fun in that? We're entrepreneurs. We're business owners. We're making money. Okay? So you're going to have to pack it. And also, too, when you do the paid community route, for those of you guys who do want to do that, you need to make sure that before you launch, you already have it packed with stuff. Because the last thing you want is you're promoting it on social and you do get people to start coming in, but there's nothing in there. Now that there's nothing in there, people are going to join and be like, okay, so why am I here? And they're going to turn their subscription off. And you don't want that. You don't want that. So you need to make sure that before you launch, you already have content in there. And it's really easy to build content over time because you could record a video every day. That's what I do. And it doesn't have to be a 30-minute video. I was definitely doing that on OnlyFans. I would make short, quick little 30-second videos. I wouldn't even do nothing, just quick little videos. Like, I would be cooking breakfast and I would say, hey guys, I hope you have an amazing Thursday. Don't forget my one-on-one Zooms are $250. Don't forget my socks are on sale. Don't forget to order your custom pictures. Like, that's literally what I would do every day. Just something quick, fast, in a hurry. With Glow Up Academy, I post daily videos, but so Glow Up Academy is more so about mindset shifting, believing in yourself, content, building your business. So I'll make videos with that. So I'll say things like, okay, you guys, you said yesterday you were going to post content. Are you posting the content today? We have talked about being on YouTube now for a month, 2 months, whatever it is. How many YouTube videos have you promoted? Have you posted, right? People want to be in your world. That's what the paid communities are for. So even if not everybody watches the video, because some people, they only log into the community maybe every couple of days. So they may not see your content every day. That's fine. Because when they do log in, now they got a whole bunch of stuff to backtrack on, to binge. So if you could post something every day, which is what I teach, if you really want to go the paid community route, you have got to pack it. You really do. And I'm not going to lie. Paid communities are a lot of work. They are a lot of work. But they are also very rewarding. They are extremely rewarding. I can't make this up. I don't care what your paid community is. I see people on YouTube, they'll be on Patreon. They're just on Patreon. But they have YouTube channels. And on their Patreon, they just do audios. They don't even do videos. On their Patreon, it's audios of more content, just more exclusive stuff that's just not on YouTube. Same niche, same type of content. It's just more in the Patreon. And they post in there every day. every day. And that person that's subscribed, they might not log into their Patreon to listen to the content every day, but when they do, they got a whole bunch of stuff to catch up on. And that's what makes it feel worth the price. This is the same thing Netflix does. This is the same thing. This is the exact same thing. How much is Netflix? $19.99, $24.99? They upsell you on if you want 4K. They upselling you too. So it doesn't really matter what the content is. You're gonna have to pack it. When you go on Netflix, when you go on Hulu, they got videos, movies for years. You ain't gonna be able to catch up with, you're not gonna be able to watch all the stuff they got on it. You're not gonna be able to watch it. But the perceived value, when you sign up, you're like, oh shit, I got a lot of stuff to watch. You've increased the perceived value. Especially over time, if you can add something in there every single day, in the course of 6 months, new people coming in, they're gonna be like, oh shit, I get all this for $49, $29.99, whatever it is, and you're doing weekly lives. So the name of the game, paid communities. Paid communities. There's so many options. You got Skool, you got OnlyFans, you got Patreon. People have paid communities within their YouTube. So people will charge memberships. I've seen people doing that. And you get exclusive access to content on people's YouTube channel if you're subscribed to their channel. Exclusive posts all on YouTube. There's so many places. Instagram, I think, has paid communities you could do too on there, where people who are subscribed to your Instagram community, they can see reels that aren't for everybody else. All the platforms are doing it. They're all doing it. Even on TikTok, they have like lives that only people who are subscribed to your TikTok can watch. And you use the paid community as a funnel to sell more stuff. So the earning potential is endless. It really is. I'm telling you, I've made a lot of money through paid communities for real. So if you're considering a paid community, you better go ahead. You better get in where you fit in. You better make that paid community and pack it with value. I know that much, because you sleeping on some serious money for real. You sleep. I need you to wake up and get this money. This is real, y'all. There is really money online. But a lot of y'all want to do the whole, oh, well, I don't want people to find my content. And what about Sally, who I went to high school with? What if she finds out that I have a paid school community? Okay. And so you going to let Sally stop you from $16,000 months? You going to let your family stop you from $5,000 months? Is that what we got going on in 2025? Oh. Now, how do you promote the paid community? Content, and more content. So whatever you're doing, multiply it by 10. If you're posting every day, well, 10 extra efforts. And only promote one thing. I should have brought this up. So yes, I have upsells within Glow Up Academy, and I had upsells within OnlyFans, but I wasn't upselling in the content. I was only selling the private community on social, just like with Glow Up Academy. You only hear me talk about Glow Up Academy. That's all you hear me talk about. You don't hear me tell y'all book one-on-ones, not on social. Y'all don't hear me mention any of that. When you got too many things that you're promoting, people get confused. People get confused as hell. And so then they don't know what should they sign up for. They don't really know. So unconfuse them by only promoting one thing. And something else that you can do, I do it on Glow Up Academy and I would do it on OnlyFans. A lot of times you might not get somebody to stay subscribed for 12 months, right? You might not. That's okay. But what you can do is offer people an annual discount, right? So let's say on average, you can get somebody to stay subscribed to your community for 3 months, 4 months. Well, if you offer a 30 or 40% off discount on the annual rate, you still come out on top. So you could promote, by the way, if you don't like monthly subscriptions, because I know I don't, then go ahead and sign up for the annual, get 30% off of the annual price, and you can throw in something. So what I do when people pay for the annual, for the pay for my Glow Up Academy, I'll give them a free one-on-one Zoom. And I position the Zoom as an exclusive offer because my Zooms are $2.99. So I'll be like, if you pay for the annual, you get 30% off the rate, right? And you're going to get a one-on-one Zoom that's valued at $2.99 for free. For free. And I would do that on OnlyFans. I would say, if you sign up and subscribe for the annual for OnlyFans for $49 a month, I would throw in a free one-on-one Zoom. Because I already knew most people were not going to stay subscribed for 12 months. I already knew that. So if I could get the money up front and give them an added bonus, well, now that has incentivized them to sign up for the annual. Y'all better get in where you fit it. I can't make this up. I can't make this up. This is the name of the game. So if you guys have not started your paid community, why not? Make sure you guys join Glow Up Academy. This is the space where I teach you all the sauce. You guys, this is 5 years of information. This is 5 years of game for only $39 a month. We do weekly live coaching calls in here as well. So we just did one last night. Any questions that you have, you need to ask. Also, I do want to brag on one of my students. Her name is Liz. She grew her TikTok following from 3,500 followers to 15.2K followers in 1 week. I've made over $600,000 online. And I have a lot of students inside Glow Up Academy who are making sales. They're making more money than they ever imagined. All you got to do is join, start. It's only $39 a month, cancel anytime. Worst case scenario, you spend $39 and you learn everything that I learned in 5 years in the course of 30 days. Best case scenario, you actually apply and execute what I teach you and you make sales and you start your online business and eventually you quit that 9 to 5. Either way, total investment, $39. That's less than what you spend for a dinner for 2 at Outback. But you do what you want. You can watch, wish, pray, manifest. You can get stuff done. The choice is yours. All right, y'all, I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to post because I post content. I don't talk about posting. I do it. And then I'm going to hop on TikTok Live in a little bit. I will see you guys later. Bye, YouTube.